Sad news today in the cruising world. Multiple deaths to report, 2 different crew members and a cruise passenger on an excursion. Really sad. But positive news out of Royal Caribbean and Princess Cruises. Lots to talk about. Let's get to it. Welcome. I'm Sean Whent. I'm your host here at the Whent There Cruising Channel. And today is cruise news for Tuesday, October the 28th, 2025. Let's get into it. So the first unfortunate death story today comes out of P&O Cruises. Yesterday it was reported that they had a crew member on the P&O Arvia that was on a 14-night transatlantic journey from Barcelona to Barbados die 2 days into the sailing during the transatlantic voyage. Initially, it was not reported how this crew member died. It was reported as an accident. But now it's been revealed today that that accident involved an elevator. And apparently somehow that employee was crushed by an elevator. Not entirely clear how that occurred, but obviously horribly tragic and certainly mars the voyage. But obviously the cruise line has said that they are doing what they can to take care of the family and of course crew members that may be impacted by the loss of one of their colleagues. So obviously sad news. But not the kind of thing necessarily that indicates any problem with passenger safety. Here, a crew member is somehow being crushed by an elevator. Tragic, but probably not something that the average passenger has to really be concerned about. And the next unfortunate death story involving a crew member was also yesterday. This one coming out of Viking. The Viking Star was on a 7-night voyage in the Aegean Sea, going to places such as Crete and Sicily, and they had a crew member go overboard yesterday around 11 a.m. It was reported that the person was seen going overboard, and they did throw life preservers over the side as well as like a flare marker, and they spent several hours during the search, but were eventually informed by the Italian Coast Guard that they could resume their voyage. There is no report yet that the body has been found, but if the ship has called off its search and sailed on, I think it's safe to assume at this point that that crew member did not survive that incident. So obviously tragic, and no word yet what led to that, but not entirely unusual or unheard of for that to occur. The Sun Princess had an employee crew member commit suicide a couple months ago on the sailing right before I got on in Athens, but it happened a couple days before after leaving Turkey. So, that it does occur, and obviously tragic. And again, the cruise line is saying they're doing all they can to take care of the family and the other crew members on board. So terribly tragic. The other unfortunate death story today comes out of Australia. So on Saturday, a passenger on a coral expedition ship was on a hiking excursion on Lizard Island, which apparently is somewhere near the Great Barrier Reef. And they were hiking to Cook's Look, which apparently is a significant, strenuous hike. But they became tired during the hike and went off to rest and did not make the rest of the ascent. But apparently the other people did, and then have ultimately returned back to the ship, and this person did not. And at that point, those cruise ships are only about 100 passengers, those coral expedition ships, so pretty small. But upon noticing the passenger was missing, they initiated a search, and apparently the person's body was found about 150 feet from the trail that they had been hiking. So obviously tragic again, but that's like the 4th one this year, or 3rd or 4th one this year. There was a lady died on a hike back in July in Juneau, Alaska, and another guy died in September on a hike in Juneau. So this seems to be a recurring theme. Now in this case, you have an 81-year-old passenger who apparently was traveling alone. So I'm wondering, should there be some sort of oversight of this? At a certain point, should we ensure that people of that age are not on excursions that are involve strenuous hiking, especially not by themselves, without anybody to watch them or ask for help should the need arise. And this came up during a Princess Cruise excursion I did this summer in in Italy, where we had an elderly passenger that was having a significant trouble keeping up with our group as we had a fairly long walk. But in that case, he was with other people, and enough people on our excursion were able to help him as well. But in this case, you're on a somewhat remote island in the Great Barrier Reef, an 81-year-old person traveling alone. It seems like it's pretty high risk, and maybe there should be some sort of oversight of that. Your thoughts? Should the cruise line do more to prevent that, or is that just a risk that you run while you're cruising? But let's turn to some positive news. The first positive story today comes from Princess Cruises. The World Culinary Awards this week announced that their best culinary cruise ship is the Royal Princess. The Royal Princess is the first of the Royal class ships and has multiple dining options on board, including the Crown Grill signature steakhouse that they have at Princess. Lots of good food options on there. But apparently that is the best ship in the world for culinary experiences. What are your thoughts? I mean, I've had some great food on cruise ships, but I don't know that the Royal Princess, which I have been on, was any better than any of the other Princess ships that I've been on. So I'm wondering what makes that one better than all the others. It certainly didn't have all the options that the new Sun Princess and Star Princess have. So I don't know, but your thoughts? Have you had good food on the Royal Princess? Was it better than the average Princess cruise food? I'd like to know what you think. Let us know down in the comments. And then the final two stories today come out of Royal Caribbean, also positive news. So they're up in their beach club game once again. So we announced last week that Royal Caribbean is going to be opening their new beach club experience in the Bahamas early. They're also working on a beach club in Cozumel, Mexico, in addition to Perfect Day in Costa Maya. Well, now another beach club will be opening apparently next summer, in summer 2026, in Santorini, Greece. And so they're going to use this beach club there in Santorini as the jumping off point for multiple excursions there in Santorini. So it should be a really neat experience. How important are these beach clubs for you? Obviously, it's a moneymaker for the cruise line. We reported the prices for going to the one that's about to open in Nassau at around $120 a day for adults. So that's a fair amount of money if enough people go to those things that the cruise line's going to make. So I'm not surprised, and I don't see any sign of this trend slowing down. They're going to continue growing these as long as people are going. And then the other story from Royal Caribbean today announced big news in their loyalty program. So Carnival made news months ago by basically destroying their loyalty program and changing it to a rewards program, which was kind of a big negative message to all their longtime cruisers, because you can no longer maintain that status. Although they've since backtracked on some of that for the top diamond people, but Royal Caribbean continues to make their loyalty program better. So last year they started making it so that you could share that loyalty across their cruise lines. You could go to Silver Sea or Celebrity, and they'll match your status on those. Well, now they're saying beginning in 2026, and no specific date's been announced, but for sailings in 2026, when you sail on any of the Royal Caribbean lines, you can apply those reward points to any of those rewards programs. So let's say you're a regular Royal Caribbean cruiser, but you want to take one on Celebrity, and you think maybe they've got some itinerary specific that you want to do. So you take the one on the Celebrity, you can actually apply those rewards earned on that Celebrity cruise to your regular Royal Caribbean loyalty status. So the points can be applied in any of those programs, either at Silver Sea or Celebrity. That provides a lot more flexibility, particularly if you're somebody that regularly sails one of those and maybe takes the occasional one on one of those other lines. You're still going to continue to earn rewards points or loyalty points on the cruise line that you primarily sail. I think that additional flexibility is great. I think maybe Carnival should take a look at that. But what are your thoughts? Well, lots of stories today. Hope you found the video useful. If you did, please like the video. And if you like cruise content, please subscribe. We do want to be your source for cruise content. And until we see you next time, we wish you smooth sailing. Take care.